When Pokemon Champions launches, everyone's going to be chasing the best build for the best possible team. But why? No one's going to be crowned world champion on launch day. We don't need to solve the problem of finding the best possible team because there isn't one. The meta's always going to change. Instead, I'm going to show you how to win using the most iconic team in franchise history, Red's team. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how to build it and play it, so on launch day you can hit the ground running and start winning with your favorites. Not in spite of them, but because of them. I'm Zane, aka Direwolf. Let's dive in. Red's team is most iconically known as Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Pikachu, Snorlax, and Lapras. But according to all accounts, everyone's favorite Loch Ness monster isn't actually in Pokemon Champions. Luckily, there's a second Red's team. The one with Lapras is what Red uses as the final boss of Gen 4's Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But these were remakes of Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and in those games, Red uses an Espeon instead of Lapras. So that's the version of Red's team that we're going to be using in Pokemon Champions. And it actually creates a much more well-rounded team. But to understand why, first, we have to explore what roles the other Pokemon are filling and the gaps that still exist afterwards. Let's start with the original partner Pokemon. Whether you started your Gen 1 journey with Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, or you were forced to take Pikachu because you played Pokemon Yellow, these are the 4 Pokemon that will always be associated with Red and Ash's team, so that's where we need to start. We've got to make this core of 4 work before filling in the gaps with what roles Snorlax and Espeon still need to fill. This group also contains our only Pokemon capable of Mega Evolution in Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. So we'll start with the Mega Evolution that we're going to build this team around. From the options of Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Venusaur, and Mega Blastoise, only one of these Pokemon offers synergy with the rest of the Pokemon that we're going to be putting on this team, and that is Mega Charizard Y. Mega Charizard's ability Drought activates the sun. This enables Venusaur's ability Chlorophyll to double Venusaur's speed stat, making it the fastest Pokemon in the entire Champions roster. Combine this with Venusaur's Sleep Powder, giving it a 75% chance to shut down one of your opponent's Pokemon anywhere from 1 to 3 turns, makes Venusaur an incredibly disruptive Pokemon. But we can use Venusaur's speed stat for more than just disruption. Gen 5 introduced 3 moves that are going to define the destructive capabilities of this team. And those moves are Water Pledge, Grass Pledge, and Fire Pledge. Each is only 80 base power with no secondary effect. They're underwhelming compared to other basic moves like Scald, Energy Ball, or Flamethrower that can both deal more damage and add an additional effect. But when 2 pledge moves are used on the same turn, they combine into a single 150 base power move with devastating side effects. Grass Pledge and Fire Pledge together create a sea of fire on your opponent's side of the field that deal 1/8 of your opponent's Pokemon's health to both Pokemon at the end of every turn. There's also a key quirk on how the combination of pledge moves activates. You see, the pledge moves do damage based off of the second pledge user, but go at the speed order of the first pledge user. That allows our Mega Charizard Y to fire off what is essentially a sun-boosted G-Max Wildfire, leveraging its now mega-boosted special attack stat off of Venusaur's Chlorophyll-boosted speed stat. This move hits hard, almost always goes first, and does lingering damage to the rest of your opponent's side of the field. This move is so strong, it's able to one-shot Pelipper. That's right, Pelipper. The premier rain setter for this format goes down to 1 shot of this resisted attack. Even if Pelipper is sashed, the residual damage is going to remove it at the end of the turn, leaving you in full control of the weather for the rest of the match. With the primary damage of the team accounted for, we now have to support these 2 key pieces. Unfortunately, if you're a fan of Blastoise, Blastoise is not going to be dealing resisted one-hit knockouts using this team. But thanks to its great defensive bulk and incredible supportive move pool, Blastoise is able to support the rest of the team in some pretty key ways. Blastoise can sit next to one of our heavy hitters and cause disruptions and allow setups thanks to its access to Fake Out, or it can further boost its partner's damage output with its access to Helping Hand. Since Blastoise is going to spend most of its time playing in the sun, giving it a water move that's going to deal halved damage for most of the game doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Instead, we're going to give it access to Icy Wind. This is going to allow Blastoise to chip and slow down our opponent's team, and with no speed investment after a single Icy Wind, Blastoise is able to outspeed base 80 Pokemon such as Mega Meganium with maximum speed investment. But Blastoise isn't the fastest Pokemon on our team. After a single Icy Wind, our Pikachu is able to outspeed basically the entire roster. The glaring weakness of the team so far is that both Charizard and Blastoise are weak to electric type moves. Venusaur resists them, but it's pretty frail and isn't going to be able to take multiple strong electric type moves for its partners. This is where Pikachu gets to shine. On the surface, to say its stats are lackluster would be an understatement, but thanks to its ability and unique held item, we can make it work. Pikachu's ability Lightning Rod grants it immunity to all electric type moves. Not only that, it draws all electric type moves used on the field towards it, and if it's hit by one of these moves, its special attack stat gets boosted by 1 stage. I think we've got our electric type weakness pretty well covered at this point. But even at +1, Pikachu's damage output leaves a lot to be desired. With a mere 50 base special attack, most physical attackers have more special attack than Pikachu. I mean, take Conkeldurr for example. Its base special attack is 55. Pikachu is going to be severely lacking in the damage department. But that's where its special held item, the Light Ball, comes in. When a Pikachu is holding a Light Ball, it doubles both its attack and special attack stat, turning this originally very weak special attack stat into one that rivals that of legendary Pokemon like Miraidon, Fluttermane, and Chi-Yu. And that's before it picks up a Lightning Rod boost. After a Lightning Rod boost, Pikachu's special attack stat is now more than a modest Mega Zygarde's base 216 special attack stat. When positioned well, this little mouse is taking no prisoners. But Pikachu isn't just a big damage dealer. In fact, it's best served as another disruption like Blastoise, but with the added threat of being able to do big damage at any moment. Pikachu can create openings for other Pokemon to set up or take uncontested knockouts with its access to Fake Out, and just like Blastoise Icy Wind, its access to Electro Web allows it to create some speed control. With our core 4 mostly ironed out, it's time to focus on everybody's favorite sleepy boy, Snorlax. Our team so far is comprised entirely of special attackers who are just dealing physical damage for fun with Fake Out. But Snorlax is going to change that up. Snorlax is most notoriously known for 2 things. 1, being incredibly bulky and hard to remove, and 2, playing bongos on its belly. This Snorlax is going to do both. Most players when running a belly drum set are going to max out the Pokemon's attack stat so that it does as much damage as possible, but that's overkill. Remember how I said Pikachu was able to outclass Mega Zygarde's base 216 special attack stat, which is the highest stat of any Pokemon in the game? When Snorlax with no attack investment uses belly drum, it goes up to 520. Why do we need to do any more damage than that? That's going to be picking up one-shots across the board. We don't need more damage than that, we just need it to stick around, which is why this set is focused entirely on Snorlax's bulk and longevity. Body Slam is going to be our only damage dealing move because given the chance that you don't actually pick up the one-hit knockout with Snorlax, it's going to leave your opponent with a 30% chance to be paralyzed. And it's going to bypass minimize evasion boosts, so you don't have to worry about constantly missing moves over and over for an hour while your opponent slowly wins the game by sapping you of your mental sanity. Anyway, to round out this set, we're going to give Snorlax the ability Gluttony, which allows it to eat any berry when its HP dips below half, the exact point that Belly Drum activates. Which means we can leverage the stronger berries like the Figgy Berry instead of the Citrus Berry, giving us an extra 22 HP or an additional 8% of our health every time we eat a berry. And yes, I do mean every time because this set is also going to use Recycle. See, Recycle allows Snorlax to recover its berry every time it's been eaten, allowing it to stay on the field essentially indefinitely. The only thing preventing Snorlax from sweeping every game is its speed, which leads us straight into why Espeon is the ideal 6th member for this team instead of Lapras. Sure, Lapras offers us a nice water immunity, making our opponents think twice before clicking a water move into Charizard. But Charizard's living most of its life in the sun, where water already does reduce damage, and is already strongly supported by both Blastoise and Pikachu. Lapras in this instance is mostly redundant. Instead, Espeon gives us something that slow, bulky Pokemon like Snorlax dream of. Trick Room. Up to this point, our only means of speed control was Venusaur propelling Charizard at the speed of light. Yeah, pun intended. Or Blastoise and Pikachu slowly chipping away at our opponents, slowing them down. But none of these strategies are going to account for a Whimsicott using priority Tailwind and our opponent running through the rest of this team. That's where Espeon comes in and critically supports the Snorlax mode. By giving Espeon Trick Room, it can reverse the turn order, making Snorlax not only the bulkiest and hardest hitting Pokemon on the field, but now also the fastest. And Espeon also critically covers for Snorlax's only weakness, fighting, with its super effective psychic type attacks. There are a ton of sets that you can use with this Espeon, as base 130 attack off of a 110 base speed is nothing to laugh at, and that's before you factor in all of the coverage moves that Espeon gets, with Power Gem to cover for Incineroar, Dazzling Gleam for other dark types, as well as Weather Ball to play in the sun with Charizard. But this set I opted for was Choice Specs with Trick. At the end of the day, this team is really going to struggle against Incineroar, and so if you can trick Choice Specs onto an Incineroar that just used Fake Out, suddenly the most versatile Pokemon in the entire format becomes a liability and is no longer able to do what it wants to do. It's also just going to naturally boost Espeon's strong Psychic type moves, allowing it to punch a hole through teams that normally wouldn't be expecting this type of damage output, all while threatening to twist the dimensions with its immunity to taunt thanks to its magic bounce ability. That 4th slot is really up to you and what you want to see your Espeon do. So, bringing it all together, this is what I settled on for my version of Red's team. You can take a screenshot of the team here, but I've also included a Pokepaste down below, along with comments on customizations that you can use to make this team your own. Each customization is going to come with its own pair of trade-offs, but those trade-offs are exactly why building a team like this are worth it in the first place. When you start with a Pokemon that you love, not just a team that was built to be optimized from the bottom up, you actually have to understand it. You learn where those holes are, why they're there, and how to either work around them or patch them up. And that's a skill that's going to carry over into every team that you build, no matter what format. Red's team is a 25-year-old lineup of fan favorites that has no right being this good. But when you understand what each member brings, why the pieces fit together the way that they do, and how to get the most out of what you've got, it works. The meta will always change, but that doesn't mean your favorites have to, so go win with them. And if this got you thinking about team building differently, then you're gonna love this interview that I had with Joe Carton straight off of his top 16 finish at the Houston Pokemon Regional Championships. This is your next step into understanding how high-level Pokemon players think, so that you can take your team building, whether it's for fun or competition, to the next level. I'll see you there.